Welcome, everybody. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. We're in the Psychology of Eating podcast. I am with Lynn today. Welcome, Lynn.
Hi, Mark. Thanks for having me.
So glad you're here. So glad we're doing this. So this is all about you and I having a first session together and seeing if we can make some goodness happen. So if you could wave your magic wand and you can get whatever you wanted with food and body, what would that be for you?
It would be to feel good in my body. I've had, it's been a rough year and a half, 2 years. So I feel always bloated, eating's an issue. So I just want to feel good. I feel like I'm in a foreign body.
So what doesn't feel good? You mentioned bloating. Anything else that doesn't feel good in your body?
Well, there's weight gain too, that I've gained through an injury and not being able to move. So that's very different for me because I was the same weight for several years, most of my life actually. So now I'd say I have probably 25, 30 excess pounds since my injury. So that's a tough one.
Yes. Okay. So feeling bloated, your body's carrying around more weight than you're used to. So that's not going to make you feel good about being in your body. Anything else? Just so I know, so we can collect information.
That's pretty much like the symptoms that I have my discomfort with. I mean, I wish there'd be an easy way to know what foods to eat, what supplements to take. I mean, I feel now I eat better than I ever have in my life. I eat whole, but I'm still having this discomfort. So yeah, I'm kind of puzzled sometimes. So I was really looking forward to the session with you to get some answers.
So discomfort when you eat? Or
after.
And so bloating, any other words you can use to describe the discomfort that you have?
Bloating is probably the best word for me, unless we figure something out as we go, because I've never felt bloated like this. On occasion in the past, I'd say like before my injury, I knew it was because I ate a certain thing. Now I feel like I eat well, and then I still kind of struggle with that. I know there's the weight, but then bloating happens like in a different feeling to that.
Does it happen at every meal or at certain meals?
No, not at every meal. Probably more, could be lunch and dinner. Breakfast is usually pretty good. I usually make a shake. I'm a light eater. And then at lunch, yeah.
And so the bloating started, you said maybe a couple of years ago, or?
Yeah. Well, since my injury. So my injury was to my knee, which kept me from being physical. And I've always been a really physical person. Love walking and skiing and dancing. And so I was always moving, and then to like not moving, crutches for 3 months, cane. I'm just starting. I've gone for 2 walks now in the past 3 weeks, I'd say, for like 20-minute walks. So I wonder, is it lack of movement? Is it, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a good question. So have you been on any medications since you had your injury?
Yes, quite a few.
What kind of medications? Like
I had antidepressants. I had anti-inflammatories, sleep muscle relaxer at night, a sleeping aid, and a drug. I know it as Lyrica for the pain too, which for over a period I took a lot of, because it's like chronic pain in it. So I'm slowly getting off them. I'm doing my best to eliminate that from my body too.
So the drugs that you just mentioned, you're still on all of them right now?
Antidepressants, no, not for a couple of months now. Lyrica, very just on occasion, and anti-inflammatories, it's Those are, yeah, on occasion. I can't say none at all. Just if the pain is really bad.
Yeah, so every one of those drugs that you just mentioned can potentially cause digestive symptoms, can potentially cause or contribute to bloating. On top of that, once we start to take a cocktail of prescription drugs, it's anybody's bet in terms of what side effects can be. So if I could bet my money on what started causing your bloating, given that it's coincident, given that it's happened at the same time that you had your injury and you started taking, again, a cocktail of drugs that your body has never seen before, there's a very good chance that your digestive system took a little bit of a hit. It could literally be, there can be so many different mechanisms for the bloating itself. It could be that your gut flora was impacted. And so bottom line is, I would say in terms of the bloating, it would be interesting if you have as a goal to be off of those medications. I'd be interested to see what happens, 2 months after you're off of those medications, how your meals feel in your body. I wouldn't be surprised if there's a very interesting and noticeable change.
Okay.
And on top of that, you're not moving, or you haven't been moving so much. And one of the great digestive aids for so many people is movement.
Yes. Yeah.
Movement just has a wonderful way of exercising the digestive organs. It literally mechanically moves our organs and gets enzymatic flow in the gut increasing, gets peristalsis increasing. So to me, when you add all that together and then throw in a little bit of the stress or upset of having an injury and not being able to be your usual self and being in pain, that to me sets up the conditions potentially for bloating.
Right. Yeah, because it certainly has shifted my whole life in terms of, socializing and outings and exercise, where I miss it so much. And I know my body would feel so much better if I could go and walk. Because I was a big walker too. I'd walk every day and walk in the mountains. And, I'm really a nature person. So my body has definitely been in a different, living a different life.
So what's the prognosis in terms of what's going to be happening with your knee and when you can start doing more physical activity?
Yeah, it's really, I'm doing more now, slowly. I'm still doing physio, and it's really at my rhythm. So now I feel I can go and walk. I'm even like walking without a cane more and more. So it's getting better. Like I'm really happy that I can move a little better and not be in so much pain.
Yes. So, you're reminding me that I see this so commonly with clients, with friends, with family, with loved ones. We don't always notice or think to notice that the prescription drug I'm taking and the interesting symptoms that I'm having, side effects that I'm having, are actually connected. Because you're taking all these drugs so you can feel better. So your brain is not tracking, oh, I'm taking these drugs, what's making me not feel better or what's not working. Your brain is looking for, is there pain relief? Do I feel better? That's what you're tracking for. You're tracking for pain relief in your limb, in your knee.
Yes.
You're not noticing that there's, an unfortunate in the pharmaceutical industry. One of the weird things about most pharmaceuticals is that there are side effects. They're not perfect little heavenly angelic chemicals that, leave us in great shape. So there's often a cost for a pharmaceutical, and there's more of a cost for a collection of pharmaceuticals that we're taking. And, you know, your doctor's not necessarily going to tell you that or harp on it, because quite frankly, if you want pain relief, there might be a little cost to that.
Yes,
You know, if I take a pain reliever, I'm taking it because I want to get rid of pain. And if I have some other symptom, as long as it's not worse than the original pain I'm trying to get rid of, I'll deal with it.
yeah. And then the drugs cause me to eat more, right? And then to eat fast. I've always been a really slow eater. And then, especially with antidepressants, I noticed it's like you have no bottom and we eat more. So I tended to eat not as well. So I found since I've been off the antidepressants, I'm trying to get I found myself actually, I noticed that I wasn't eating as fast. So that felt good. I'm, trying to get some sense of normalcy back in my body. But, like you said, it makes sense that I think once all the drugs are gone, all the pharmaceuticals, which is my goal, because my goal is to feel my body. I want to feel where my pain is at. And I told that to my doctor. I said, I don't want to feel like I'm in a brain fog all the time either. Like I want to get my life back.
Yes. Good for you for being the general manager of your own health experience, because it's easy for us to give all of our power away to a practitioner, to a doctor, to a professional who doesn't live in your body. So they're doing the best that they know how to do. They're seeing a lot of people. Chances are your provider or providers who prescribed all those drugs to you, it's not like they're sitting down with you for an hour and getting to know you and asking you a lot of questions and warning you about side effects. They're saying, okay, here's your problem, here's a solution. And they're not tracking you. It's oftentimes not considered their job to do that. So you and I, all of us, I think we need to be responsible, especially around prescription drugs. It's not just take a drug and everything is wonderful. It's let's pay attention. Let's track the body. And again, my guess is you did the right thing. When there's a certain level of pain, when you're trying to recover from a physical injury, if there's too much pain, it's harder to recover from the physical injury because the stress of the pain can often override the healing response.
Right.
So we need a certain amount of pain relief in order to heal from any type of traumatic injury. So I think you did the right thing. And I think you continue to do the right thing by saying, okay, now I'm the one that has to be responsible for tracking my body, noticing my symptoms, and putting one and one together and seeing, there's a damn good probability that the menu of drugs that I'm taking can cause a side effect like bloating, and really lock it in on top of not moving, which will impact digestion in a not so positive way, on top of not necessarily feeling good about yourself. If I'm feeling low energy, depressed, I'm not going to be digesting as well. We digest better when we're happy and feeling excited about life.
Yes. And I was in such a time, you don't even know what to eat or what to do, now having a little more clarity in my life, and really, the bloating was a mystery. And it's funny that, I'm so glad that, I feel that in time, it'll go, and the more I get active. But yeah, I'm finally getting, it's coming back. My eating is coming back more normal now, and my appetite not so excessive.
Yes. I'm really glad you made a connection between an antidepressant or the antidepressant you were taking and how it may have been affecting your appetite and your sense of satiation. It's one of the, it's not talked about enough, Antidepressants are powerful substances, and I believe that for most human beings, antidepressants should be a short-term intervention, not something that we do for long-term. Because what an antidepressant tends to do, just on an emotional level, is it takes our emotional range and it collapses it. So you don't feel the lows, but you don't feel the highs either.
Right.
And a lot of times when we're on an antidepressant, it makes us feel a little flatter. It limits our emotional range. And digestion itself is an emotional process. The digestive system has a lot of feelings.
Right.
We feel good when we eat food that we like. We feel good when we eat healthy food. We feel good, like the body literally feels good about itself when it's being nourished well. And when you take an antidepressant, it can impact your gut sensations.
Okay.
It can impact your gut feelings just like it impacts your emotional feelings.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
You know, we always talk about, you know, we say things like having a happy belly or a happy gut, or we talk about gut feelings, and we do that for a reason, because it's a highly psychosomatic organ, meaning there's literally a sense of experience and emotionality that happens in the gut. Your
Mm,
gut could be angry, it could be disturbed, it could be nervous, it could be anxious.
yeah.
We could have irritable bowel syndrome. Our gut gets irritated, like we get irritated. So anyway, so you noticed, hey, I stopped this antidepressant, and all of a sudden I have a better sense of fullness because your gut is tracking its own sensations better. You can track.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like I'm more present in my way in myself, right? And
Yes.
being more aware of what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, good for you. Antidepressants can do that. It can literally pull us outside of ourselves just a little bit. The benefit is I'm not so depressed. The benefit is I could be a little more functional. The benefit is I'm out of the rabbit hole or out of the dark place. And that's great for short term.
Yes, absolutely. Because there was so much change going on, and the weight of my body, I found it really difficult accepting my life and where I was at and all the changes that were going on with my body. So the antidepressant was a good vehicle at the time to help me come out of that. And now that I would say I feel better in myself and accepting my life where I am. Um, I just have more love and compassion for myself than I did, even 6 months ago. So
Yeah, and that's how you feel better about being in your body.
right.
You
Yeah.
know, sometimes feeling better about being in my body doesn't start with losing the weight and then I feel better, getting rid of the pain and then I feel better. Yeah, those help for sure. And sometimes we feel better by noticing the places where we have the ability to feel better. So yeah, I would be resisting my life if I had a knee injury and I couldn't move and I'm in a lot of pain. I'd be complaining all day until I got tired of myself. That's what happened.
Exactly.
Until I got absolutely tired of feeling sorry for myself, then I would stop complaining and start to look for places of gratitude in my life so I can feel better. Like, I don't know, thank goodness my leg doesn't have to be amputated or something like that.
Yes. Yes. And I can still walk, so I do that too. You mentioned gratitude, and I try to breathe and do my morning meditations and just breathe some good oxygen into my body, and try to get outside every day and just bring about some calmness, because my body wasn't calm for such a very long time.
Yes. Yes. It's, you know, when you think about it, when we get a traumatic injury, it's a trauma. It's a
Right.
trauma, not just to the area that is affected, but it's a trauma to us. Like, this impacts my entire life. Everything can change. So there's an adjustment period that we have to give ourselves and understand. And there's an emotional journey that we have to
Yes.
take when we have an illness or we have an injury. And that emotional journey, we can't go around it. I don't think we have to go through it.
Yes, I agree. And I think at the end, well, recently I've said, okay, Nee, you're here to teach me something. I'm open to the lesson. But I said, you're not taking all the place in my life anymore.
Mhm.
So I'm kind of trying to get on the outside of that.
Yes. So if you could take all the wisdom from this experience, what are some of the things you think this knee injury and this weight gain has been teaching you?
Oh my goodness. Um, it's taught me a lot about perfectionism, because when you can't move your life, things around you aren't done as you would like them, or even as small as cleaning and whatnot. So it just showed me like it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. It taught me to slow down,
Hmm.
to take care of myself. It taught me also, I think my biggest lesson is boundaries. It taught me to set boundaries that I didn't realize at 56 years old that I was not good at setting boundaries, because I love helping people, doing things for people. And this injury really stopped me in my tracks.
Hmm.
So I was going, okay, now it's time to take care of Lynn and be kind. And it took me a while to be kind and compassionate with myself, because I kept expecting to wake up and be well and start walking. And then a year later, it's still not the case, where hence the depression came in. And now with the acceptance of it and looking at it in that way, I was able to set boundaries with people and to care better for myself. And when I can and be helpful to others, well, I will do that. But right now, this time is really for me. And, it's changed my whole career. Everything changed. I had to change careers. So it's very interesting. I'm very grateful for it today. I'm really glad that I'm in that mindset. I'm just waiting for my body to follow along.
Yes, yes, yes,
And I
yeah.
get impatient with that. Some days I'm like, okay, what are you not doing? But I think it's just to love myself and be a little bit more compassionate with myself a little longer, you know.
Well, I'm so glad for you that you're able to see this big picture for yourself, because otherwise the alternative is we feel like a victim. We feel sorry for ourselves. We get into even worse and worse and worse habits. So maybe more food or more drugs or more alcohol or just more things that don't work for us in order to numb whatever emotional pain and disappointment we have.
Yes. And I mean, I don't drink. I quit smoking just before my injury. And now I quit coffee to try and help my body do everything I can. So I have nothing anymore left to numb me out. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
It's letting the body teach us how to be a better person.
Yes, I agree. I mean, it's amazing. I'm grateful to have had the time to be able to sit with myself and to explore my body and to see it different. Like I never had the weight. I don't mind so much the weight. I just want to feel better,
Mhm.
with the bloating. And once I get more physical and be able to exercise more, I'll feel more fit, because I'm not very fit, because I haven't been able to do much of that until recently. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Body often teaches us. I mean, ultimately, if you think about it, maybe the hardest lesson that the body teaches us is that it's going to die. You know, that's the big one. You know, it's hard when the body gets injured. It's hard when there's a disease that we have.
Yeah.
But at some point, the body teaches us that this body ain't going to last. And we're on borrowed time. That's in a weird way the biggest let go at the end of the day. So I'm just starting to notice that there's a lot of little mini deaths or transformations that we have with the body through the course of our lifetime. And if we're
Yes.
lucky, you know, there's not too many of the challenging ones, but the
Yeah,
body,
you're right.
but the body's pretty vulnerable. And once it's injured or once it has a disease, wow, our whole relationship with it and with life just changes.
Yeah, and I had to grieve. I did grieve, you know, and then come into this new body. And now I'm saying, okay, this is carrying me now for the rest of my life. I want it to be the healthiest it can be, to live a nice old life in a body that's going to be in good shape and, you know, be able to be active. So that's my mindset with that.
What do you think is some of the biggest attributes about you that have helped you through this process?
My stubbornness, my rebel. So I know I'm quite a rebel. I've never been a follower. And that's where I've been able to kind of go off and not follow. I mean, I respect my physicians and whatnot, but I respect more, I think, what my body tells me and listening to that. So, you know, my openness, my faith, and yeah, my stubbornness. And I persevere. Yeah. Yeah.
Those are all wonderful qualities. And interesting that you mentioned stubbornness. I'm wondering if you could say more about that. Like, how has your stubbornness helped you?
And to not give up. You know, like I'm not known to give up on things. And this has been one of my biggest challenges in my life. I've gone through quite a few things. But this is really tough because I found that there was no end date to it. So it's not like I broke a bone, it's going to heal, and then we keep going. There's like, it could be, you know, maybe a disability for the rest of your life that you might have to live with. So I decided I'm not going to live with the disability. I'm not going to let my disability or the injury control the way I'm going to live. You know, I know that I can change. I feel that I can change that.
Yes. Yes. I like the word stubbornness, and also I hear commitment.
Yes. Yes, I am committed to this. You know, I mean, if I don't, I see now the consequences. I see that I don't want to live in a body that is not well. You know, so if I can, I will definitely, I am committed to, you know, eating better, and even gone even more into my eating of, you know, eating more whole and nothing that's made from, you know, drinking good water. I just want to bring all the goodness I can in my body and put all the chances on my side.
I love that approach. So I want to make an observation and tell me if this is true for you. You know, so you mentioned you gained about 25 pounds during this time. So I get that you don't like that. And it's obviously not your preference and not what you want. It doesn't seem to me that was as crushing a blow for you as it could have been, or as it is often for a lot of people who have that kind of weight gain. Is that true for you?
I'd say yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
and
mean, I know I'm more than my weight. It was a shock and having to change my whole wardrobe and whatnot and kind of adjust to it. But um, yeah, I feel being healthy is more important to me than the weight. Like now I'm okay with it.
mhm.
And I'm more than my weight. I'm not, Lynn is not, wonderful because she's 130 pounds. I feel, and that's what it also brought to me because I found myself around a lot of people where weight was a big issue, was a big part of our conversation.
Mhm.
And now I'm not there. I don't indulge in those conversations. I've kind of drifted away and not with the same people. So that's where there's been such a big shift in my life. And it's not, I mean, I love my age. I'm 56. I feel, I'm sane and my brain is good. I just need to get back in shape. I feel very fortunate.
Mm.
Yeah.
To me, you're owning who you are
Mm.
at your core. Yeah, you're a 56-year-old woman and you got a ton going for you. And not everything is perfect. And you're owning the goodness of being 56. And yeah, your preference is not to have gained 25 pounds, but you're also clear that I'm not my weight. My
Yes.
value is so much more than that.
Yes, absolutely.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it is. And I feel empowered, talking about it, and I get that good feeling inside me because it's been a journey. I think when we can go through the difficult times and then come out, you know, feeling good. Well, that's what it's all about. Right?
Was there a moment that you realized, like, I'm not my weight? Was there a point where, like, oh my God, I hate this weight gain, and then you had a shift, or did you just sort of know from the beginning, God, I don't like this, but I'm not my weight? Like, how did that come together for you?
Yeah, there was a shift because for sure, as the weight kept coming on, and you have to buy different clothes, I didn't know where that would stop and it's tough, and just my whole life, everything that was very depressed moment. And then, I'm an advocate for mental health and supporting women and I just turned that around and gave that to myself. I think people are beautiful in all our shapes and sizes and colors that we are.
Mhm.
And it was time to give myself all the compassion and love that I gave everyone else because it's not what makes us the person that we are. So there was that shift that definitely did happen where um I had to go, hey, you're always giving all this love and positive talk, and I'm that person that I was talking to,
Mhm.
right? So I think as humans, I think all of us men and women just need to be loved for who we are and to not be judged on appearances. I think that just makes me a little angry.
Yes, to not be judged on appearances, and to especially make sure we don't ourselves do the judging of ourselves for our
Yes. Yeah. Yes, yes, because that was a dark place for me. I really wasn't. Yeah, I was very sad. I was grieving the body that I did have and I think the whole body, the whole life, everything. It was the whole package that I had to let go of and make a decision to move forward in the
Mm,
body and the life that I have now, which is a really good life.
yeah.
Yeah, and just getting better, better.
I'm noticing the term that you used, grieving. I've seen over the years, especially when it comes to the body, and especially when it comes for men to, level of fitness and muscularity and athleticism, that a lot of times as we get older, we got to grieve what we used to have in order to let it go. It's literally, there's a little bit of a grieving period for so many women. There's weight change that can happen
Yes.
as you get older, or you don't have the body that you had when you were 20, or you don't have the body that you want, whatever it is. And there's a certain grieving that we need to go through, which is sort of an acknowledgement of, I'm letting this go because it's not here anymore. It's like grieving a loved one who dies. Like, we have to grieve. We have to feel that loss in order to move forward.
Yes. Yeah, and that's exactly what it was. Until I could go to that place. And I was very fortunate that I was able to have a therapist that dealt with chronic injuries and chronic pain that guided me through that too, because I didn't know how to accept that. I said, you can accept a lot of things that are more tangible, I think, and losses, but to accept that your life is going to completely change and a new body and everything was something I wasn't sure how to do. So this woman was absolutely wonderful and being kind and loving and gentle with me. Yeah.
Congratulations. I look at this as a successful journey. I look at this as you are a work in progress and you've come a long way.
Yes. And I think that's part of our journey, right? I think as long as we keep growing and changing, like, then we're on the right track, Yeah. We evolve.
Yes. And you clearly have the tools, I believe, and the insights that you need to be on this journey. It doesn't mean that it makes it easy.
No.
But it makes it far less difficult, I think. There's less suffering when we have the tools and we have the deeper understanding that, as you said, I'm ultimately not this body, I'm not this weight, I'm not this appearance. My value is so much more than that. And we can have our preferences and we have our desires. And there's a lot in life that we got to let go of.
Yes. That bag gets a little heavy. Yeah.
So how has this journey, in terms of where you're at right now with yourself, how do you view your attractiveness as a woman?
Much better. I mean, I'll tell you, there was a time where I walked out of a store and I had my cane and I kind of I had tears as I was getting in a car and thinking, who would want a woman like me with a cane? And I see that as such a distant past. I don't see myself that way anymore. I know I'm attractive. I mean, I'm single, so I'm out there too. And I know that I'll attract the person that is kind and compassionate and that loves me for who I am. Right. So I know I have so much love to give. I have a big heart. I have a lot of experience to share with people and to be there for others. I may go through the same. So yeah, I think I'm a pretty good catch.
That's the right approach. I truly believe that. It's we often look for people who feel good about who they are.
Yeah.
Regardless of what they look like, regardless of where body fat is or how much or whatever, we want somebody who feels good about themselves.
Yes. And you say that, and my kids have been a huge support in this and just loving me and just continually telling me how beautiful I am. And just it's brought us closer together too. And my parents, and I needed a lot of help. And my sister. So that's been really wonderful and nourishing.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I was
I love that. It's oftentimes our injuries and our diseases don't just belong to us. So even though it's your knee and it's your weight gain, it belongs oftentimes to our sphere. It for you, it belongs to your queendom, meaning it's impacting the people around you. And how is everybody showing up? Wow, you're closer with your parents, your kids, people are supporting you. So it gives other people an opportunity to show up. It gives other people an opportunity to love you.
yes.
And to give your body the message and your being the message, you're loved.
Yes.
A lot of times we're looking for love and we don't necessarily notice the places that it's already existing for us. We don't cultivate the love that's around us all the time.
Yes. And I found once we tap into that, we're at such a different place. Like I feel like I enjoy my solitude. I'm not lonely. I know I'm loved and have my family around me. And I think that my needs with a partner change too. So all of that has evolved, Yeah.
Lynn, I'm so appreciating you and appreciating just how you've conducted yourself through this part of your experience and this part of your journey. As far as I'm concerned, you don't need any of my help. I'm just over here, reflecting back to you just what I think are so many good ways that you've treated yourself and helped yourself get to where you are. That's all you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, hopefully it can help others along the way and, let people know they're not alone. I think that's really a good message to get out there too.
I have no doubt that you do that and you'll continue to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Mark.
Lynn, thanks for a great conversation. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Take care, everybody. More to come, my friends.
Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care. And remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have.